All right, we got a couple more things to take care of after the sale. And it'll make any difference whether it's a lease option or a cash sale, partial cash sale, whatever. Some of your best buyers will come from your previous buyers if you treat them like gold. If you go way above and beyond what you promise, if you keep your word, and there's all kinds of ways you can do that. You'll notice a letter on page 34 in here. I'm 30-something. 32. How did 32 get behind 34? I don't know. Anyway, in my book, I moved them around the right order. Your back, I forgot to tell you, your back end is in the wrong order. Yeah. Wherever it's at, it says congratulations at the top. Okay, 32. Read that letter. It's cool. Imagine yourself buying a house and getting this letter shortly thereafter. By the way, don't send the letter till you know they're in the house. Send them a bouquet of flowers with the letter, or a gift certificate to a nice restaurant. And send this letter that says, "We're so glad to have you. If you have any problems, let us know immediately." And the last paragraph, P.S. If you have any friends or relatives who may be looking to buy a home, let me know. If they buy from me, I'll make your next month's payment for you. Wouldn't you like to pay off their whole 30-year mortgage? 1 month at a time. One buyer at a time. And you ought to send them a reminder of that from time to time. You will be surprised at the leads you will get from these people. Especially if they love you through the entire process because you've been more than helpful and friendly and done exactly what you said. Folks, you can't treat people the way I'd like for you to treat them without having them respond. If you said to them, "Don't tell anybody. Don't tell anybody or I'll hurt you," they're going to tell everybody they know. Because that's just the way we are. When we get treated really, really good, we can't keep our mouth shut. Send them, barrage them with gifts. Send them, you know, I'll tell you what works best. What really works is when you send them food. In fact, take down this website. It's better than Harry and David's. Go to FloridaSpecialtyFruit.com. FloridaSpecialtyFruit.com. They supply Harry and David's. And they're a lot cheaper. And they actually deliver stuff when you order it. And go and pick out a gift basket that you want to send them. And send it to them. And you can do it right online. And they'll know where it came from. As soon as they get in that house, you send them this letter. You send them the gift. And if you get a chance, you or have somebody you know, just go by and visit them and say, "Hey, just want to check, make sure everything's okay." And incidentally, don't forget, if you send me somebody who buys houses now, I will make your payment every month. Don't forget that. I'm telling you, half your houses are gone. Especially if you get any more in that area. Okay, any questions on that?
Ron,
yeah.
That's food or fruit?
Well, the website is FloridaSpecialtyFruit.com.
Fruit.
Yeah.
Bottle of champagne is better.
I don't know. Some people don't drink champagne. I get a lot of bottles of champagne. I probably got the first one I ever got. I mean, they're just stacked up somewhere. I don't drink champagne. I hate the stuff. Can't stand the stuff. So, you know, that wouldn't make an impression on me, and I bet I'm not the only non-drinker. However, there ain't a human being alive that don't eat food. I'm telling you, food is good. Or you could go to OmahaSteaks.com and send them a box of steaks. You want to make a real impression. Omaha Steaks. Man, I love getting steaks in the mail. That's a good thing. I'm a member of Dan Kennedy's Platinum Inner Circle. And we get a box of food every month. A box of food. You know, some of it I don't like, but some of it I do. And just the way you treat your customers. Golly, it's been a long month we've been here.
And they have one more day.
All right. If all this stuff fails, you can always turn to page 31 and list the house with a realtor. I can't imagine you want to do that. But if that's the end resort, do it like I showed on page 31, where you get a buyout agreement. You pay them more if they sell it quick. Less as time goes by, but always get a buyout agreement. And all that is, you call them and you say, listen, I'll let you list the property, but I want a buyout agreement. And if they won't give it to you, tell them to take a hike. That simply means if a buyer comes along that you found, you don't owe them a commission. Or better yet, you owe them a small commission. A buyout agreement means I'll pay you $500 if I want to cancel the listing. Or $1,000 or whatever. High-priced house, $1,000 if I want to cancel the listing. You just write it right on the listing agreement. That means you can get out of the listing anytime you want. So if a buyer comes along that you solicit, you're out of the listing. What I don't want you to do is list the property and hope the realtor is going to get it sold for you while you're sitting there making payments on it for sure. But I have sold quite a few properties through realtors. I will tell you, not once have I ever sold one that I probably couldn't have sold quicker myself if I'd have just got off my butt and done a fraction of what we've talked about here today. When I list them with realtors, it's usually because I get lazy. On the other hand, some of you in the room run lives where you just can't see yourselves in this process, and you could run a big business if you just found some quality selling agents and let them sell the houses once you got them. So what, you have to give up 6-7%. If you're into it so deep that matters, you paid way too much to begin with. It could be that your system includes nothing but get property, list, be done with it. Get property, list, get check. There is an appealing aroma to that, isn't there? Okay, any questions on anything we covered? Well, good. Then stand up. And let's take a stretch break. While we're taking a stretch break, we're going to do the Freedom March. Hey, staff, would you shut the back door, please? Not kidding. Going to get loud in here. I would do the Freedom March like I like doing it, and that's marching around the hotel. The Freedom March is where I read off the march and you sing it out in cadence. Hotels get upset when I do this, and there's other seminars next door. And seminars next door get upset even more. So I'm going to read out the Freedom March, and you're going to just repeat after me, okay? Shut the door, guys.
They listen.
I love it when they follow instructions. Are you ready? Here we go. I don't know, but I've been told.
I don't know, but I've been told.
It's good to be rich when you get old.
It's good to be rich when you get old.
We are adults and full of pride.
We are adults and full of pride.
Now we know Ron is on our side.
Now we know Ron is on our side.
We can be broke or we can be rich.
We can be broke or we can be rich.
I've been broke and it's a bitch.
I've been broke and it's a bitch.
This is the day we'll make a break.
This is the day we'll make a break.
'Cause getting rich is a piece of cake.
'Cause getting rich is a piece of cake.
No more excuses, not for me.
No more excuses, not for me.
I can be what I want to be.
I can be what I want to be.
I want to make $1 million a year.
I want to make $1 million a year.
My first deal will kill my fear.
My first deal will kill my fear.
I'm gonna do a deal in 30 days.
I'm gonna do a deal in 30 days.
So all my friends will be amazed.
So all my friends will be amazed.
Soon I'll drive a Mercedes-Benz.
Soon I'll drive a Mercedes-Benz.
And be the envy of all my friends.
And be the envy of all my friends.
I won't listen to all the jerks
I won't listen to all the jerks
who try to tell me this stuff won't work.
Try to tell yourself won't work.
I can be what I want to be.
I can be what I want to be.
And I won't be stopped by any SOB.
I won't be stopped by the SOB.
It's as easy as ABC.
It's as easy as ABC.
As soon as I fix what's wrong with me.
As soon as I fix what's wrong with me,
I'll send Ron letters about my deals.
I'll send Ron letters about my deals.
And tell the world how good it feels.
Tell the world how good it feels.
I don't care what broke people say.
I don't care what broke people say.
I'm taking my life back starting today.
Take my life back starting today.
I may be embarrassed until I learn how.
I may be embarrassed till I learn how.
But it can't be worse than what I'm doing right now.
It can't be worse than I'm doing right now.
This is the day we'll make a break.
This is the day we'll make a break.
'Cause getting rich is a piece of cake.
'Cause getting rich is a piece of cake.
This march is over now because
March is over now because
I'm giving myself a round of applause. You may be seated now because. Alrighty, what's going to stop you when you leave here today? Well, let's find out. We'll make a list of some deal killers.
Can we get a copy of that?
No, you cannot. However, it'll be on the tape. Okay, number 1, deal killers. Doofus realtors. Are you going to listen to them? No. Are they going to try to steal your dreams?
Yes.
And in fact, are there going to be a lot of dream stealers coming after you?
Yes.
Are you going to listen to them?
No.
May I suggest you be very careful to whom you listen, because the world is full of morons who want you to do what they do so they can feel good about their level of failure. They're all broke. You cannot get information on how to get rich from broke people because they don't qualify. But unfortunately, most of the information that's offered to you is offered to you by people who wouldn't know how to get rich because they've never been rich. Want to get rich? Listen to the rich. Don't listen to the poor. All right, how about this one? Family problems. Everybody's got family problems. I got family problems. I got a 14-year-old granddaughter who lives with me. Yeah. She's got a problem. 14 going on 21. Got anybody have one of them? Yeah. Okay. When you go back home, unfortunately, your family members didn't get the opportunity to spend a week with you here, so they don't know what you know. So you can't really blame them. You can't really blame them for their conditioning. You can't blame them for their thoughts. And if you haven't been bringing home the bacon lately, guys, you can't blame them from telling them just another one of them worthless schemes. You can't blame them because they don't know. They haven't seen it. If you have family members that are trying to drag you down, get them to Vegas over the 4th of July, and we'll fix them. Actually, we don't have to. They'll fix themselves when they sit in that environment and see all those people out there making a boatload of money. And at that event, you will see a lot more people in the business than you see here because this is a beginner's event. Besides, if you can't get them to Vegas on the 4th of July, I don't know where you're going to get them. Just drag them along. Family problems are something you're going to have to overcome because I don't know how to help you with that. The truth is, and this is an unpopular subject, but some people need to go home and get rid of their family to fix their family problems. And that very well could mean that maybe the person that you have been married to for all this time just needs to be married to somebody else. We have caused a few divorces. Likewise, I think we've caused just as many marriages. So we're breaking even. I will tell you this. Once you start succeeding and making a lot of money, you will lose some relationships with not only family but some friends. And there's nothing you can do with it but offer to take them along for the ride. If they don't want to go along for the ride, you're going to have to leave them in your dust or stay right down there where they're at. I have two brothers and two sisters. I have one brother that does real estate. That's my older brother Dave, who you meet over the 4th of July celebration. In fact, he'll be doing the Sunday morning worship service. He'll also be doing a class on de-junking your life. Dave is a Baptist minister and a professor of divinity at Piedmont Bible College. Actually, just retired last year. Now he's a whatever. Dave is the only one that I really can communicate with in my whole family, my brothers and sisters, because we just don't speak the same language. You know, I just don't even want to be around them. I mean, I just can't stand to be in that environment. I just don't want to be near them. Now, do they all have the same opportunities? Yes? Could they all come along for a free ride and learn as much as they want to learn and go as fast as they want to go? Yes. Well, you know, I quit worrying about them about 18 years ago. I figured if they want to do it, they're going to do it, and that's up to them. I have one son and 3 daughters. I have one son in Ohio doing real estate. I have Vicky running Global Publishing Inc. The other 2, can't help them. Can't help them because they don't want to be helped. They don't want to be helped. You can't help them. The only thing you can do is offer the student a ride. But when the student don't want to ride, you can't force them to do anything they don't want to do. Only when the teacher is ready only when the student is ready can the teacher appear. So in other words, you can offer assistance, but you cannot force them to do what you want them to do. That means you're going to leave some of your family behind. But you're going to gain a new family along the way. Some of them are sitting right here in the room right now. So there's a price to pay for success. Improper pre-screening of prospects will stop you because you have forgotten the biggest basic of the business, and that is you can't deal with people who don't want to deal with you. I know you've heard me say that 10, 15 times here, and yet some of you will leave and forget it immediately. Or discard it because you didn't think it was important. Or perhaps you just didn't get it. Incidentally, what does it cost for you guys to come back to the next 4-day Millionaire Maker Bootcamp? Not a zippo dime. As long as you bring the same person you came with. Okay? Now, if I got room, I'll let you come out to LA if you want to. How many of you live in LA market? Okay. You know what? I'll make room for you guys. If you want to come out, come. Just let us know you're coming. But we will start this up again in September. You want a month, and guess who's teaching it? Everybody you've seen here will teach that 4-day boot camp as a unit. Each one of them will teach a piece of it, as they're all very eminently qualified to do, as I'm sure you have seen here. They'll get a lot more time because I won't be there to take up the space. But anyway, pre-screening the prospects is the difference between success or failure. It's the difference between big income and small income. It's the difference between whether you start making money quickly or you keep chasing dead ends. Here's one: procrastination. That's a biggie. Procrastination. I'll tell you how to cure procrastination real quick if you want to. You want to? Yes. Okay. How many of you have a home of your own? All right. Go refinance it on a 3-year term. What? I'm not kidding. Go tell your bank you want a 36-month loan on your home. Watch. Let's say you got, I don't know. Somebody give me a loan balance. Huh? $200,000 loan balance. Okay? What's your payment on a 30-year mortgage? $1,365. Is that yours? That's $1,500 PITI. Okay. If you'll get out your calculator and plug it in. In fact, who's got a financial calculator? All right. Now this is your balance now, not the ARV of your house, right? Your loan balance. Okay. You got one? You got one? Is that a New Zealand financial calculator? Anybody else got one? All right. Is that a financial?
Yes, dear.
Okay. All right. Go. So you can figure out a payment. All right. $200,000 at 5% interest for 36 months. How much? $6,000. Okay. Do you know how much taxes and insurance is on this payment right here? $1,500. We'll call it $6,500 a month time you had taxes and insurance. Okay? Now, first of all, did you have a $6,500 a month increase in payment? No. You had a $5,000 a month increase in payment, didn't you? Right? So, if you refinance this thing on 36 months, do you realize you save yourself, A, about $400,000 to $450,000 worth of interest? Okay? B, what else is going to happen? Several things. One, 36 months from now, your house is going to be free and clear. That's not a bad thing, is it?
No.
Two, you're going to develop the habit and the mindset of knowing that you can pay debt off quicker, not later, and you're going to start becoming the bank instead of being a slave to the bank. Three, you're going to force yourself to make $6,500 minimum per month. $5,000 of it is all it takes to be in a position where you should be in a position instead of where you are. So in other words, can you guys go home and make an additional $5,000 a month based on what you know? If you can't, you're not doing anything. Man, that's just one little old piece of one wholesale deal. I mean, that's nothing. If you can't make an additional $5,000 a month based on what you learn here, you probably about to keep coming back to class till you think you can. So now you ask yourself, if I can just make an additional $5,000 a month, I can make this house payment in 36 easy monthly payments, it's over. And every month when you get this statement, it says you owe $6,500. You've never seen a month go by so fast in your whole life. When you get this statement, will you know, I can't procrastinate. I got to get off my dead butt and get something going. And will that force you to create good habits? You'll be so proud of yourself when you do this, and you will succeed. Because if you're in this room, I know you will succeed. And I know you'll make that payment. And I know you'll worry about it for a little while, and then I also know you'll develop the habit of making the payment, and it will be no big deal anymore. And how do I know this? Because I've done this on the last 3 homes I've had. I started in 1985 on my car. I bought a brand new Lincoln Town car, man, the cat's meow. Financed it for 1 year. Everybody thought I was nuts. Had a $2,700 payment on a car. But I only had 12 of them. And it was over. And from that time on, I learned to finance stuff short term. Forced myself to pay more. Forced myself to cheat the banks out of the interest. And pretty soon I have assets free and clear while everybody's slaving away to feed the banks. I dare you to go refinance your house for 3 years. What's the worst case? You lose your house. They're a dime a dozen. Worst case, you can't make the payment, you have to go refinance again. Isn't that right? That'll cure procrastination. You know really what I'm saying to you? I'm saying to you that you guys ought to self-impose your own deadlines. Because deadlines are what cause you to move. Without deadlines, everybody procrastinates, including me. Everything I do, I have a deadline. I make sure of it. In fact, that's what I like about being in the event business so much. There's a deadline with every event. This boot camp was a deadline for me. Guess when the manual got done? Last week. That's last week. Correct. I didn't have any choice. I flat ran out of time. I had to get it finished. Pushed it right up to the last minute, just like you will. Deadlines. Everything I do, I like deadlines because deadlines force me to move and cure procrastination. I dare you. I dare you. Here's one that'll stop you. Job. Just over broke thing. Well, hey, quit. Isn't that also a deadline? If you quit, you have to move forward and take positive action. Now, in other words, you have to get the big mo moving.
Hey, Ron,
Yes?
when I quit 2 years ago, I now make in a month what I used to make in a year. I never had an idea I could do it.
Say that again.
2 years ago when I quit, I now make in 1 month what I used to make in a year.
When I quit in that's good. Give him a hand for that. And I can't tell you how many times I've heard that from students. I now make in an hour what I used to make in a year. in 1982. Hey, you know what? If you're going to be a slave to that thing for the rest of your life, it's your decision. But I'll tell you one thing, you keep swapping hours for dollars and you can't expect to get in his position. Now, can you do this part-time? Absolutely. And should many of you stay part-time? Yes. So many of you should stay part-time, and some of you permanently. Because if you know in your heart that you just can't make decisions and take action, the last thing you want to do is be out there dangling with no cash flow coming in because you just can't get it moving forward. If you're going to move it part-time, keep the revenue coming in. Especially some of you who literally have your marriage at risk if you quit your job. That's a lot of pressure. How can you function under that kind of pressure? So keep the revenue coming in. If you get the revenue coming in part-time, you can certainly get more of it. Well, I don't know. Maybe you can't get more of it coming in full-time because truthfully it's a part-time business anyway. Can you see that? This is a part-time business that produces full-time revenue. And it'll never be more than a part-time business. If it is, you're screwing it up. Because you're doing all the junk that sucks up your time. I want you to think about us, about him, about Jeff, about Robin, about Ray Rock, about all the people you see that don't spend their entire lives sucked up into getting involved in all the minutia details that are part of any business. And truthfully, that applies to any business. If you guys can't run it part-time, you're making a mistake somewhere. Go back and fix it. Figure out what it is. Because it ain't a full-time job. And with that said, you know, maybe you can do this and keep your job. On the other hand, if your job turns your stomach, just get rid of it and get it over with. Here's the big one. That big fear. What are you afraid of? If I took a poll right now and asked you what you were afraid of, many of you would say, I don't know, but I'm afraid of something. Have you discovered here that you don't need money to buy real estate? Yes. And you don't need credit. In fact, if you're using either one of them, you better take a good hard look at the deal. So if you're not using your money and you're not using your credit, how can you lose? Well, maybe I'll do something illegal and get sued. Well, maybe so. But if you do, you won't die. And if you do, shortly time from now, you won't own anything. And even if you get sued, it don't matter because nobody's getting nothing. Because soon, you guys are going to be paupers. Oh, you're going to control the world, but you're going to be paupers. And when you know, I'm not writing checks, I'm not guaranteeing debt, and if I get sued, it don't matter. Gosh, what else is there to be afraid of? I know what it is. It's that fear of rejection. Some people worry so much about what other people think, it absolutely cripples their decision or their ability to make decisions and take action. And the truth is, if you were to look deep inside of other people's lives, you wouldn't care what they think. Because they're a mess. Doesn't matter what they think. And when you can get it from here to here, that it doesn't matter what the morons say, it frees you up to move forward and it releases your boundaries. Now, I'm going to tell you, that's going to be a lot easier as the checks roll in. And I'll also tell you, the more money you make, the more you care about what anybody says. I mean, the less you care. Here's the big one right there, is low self-esteem. If you have low self-esteem, and many of you in this room do, I know, I can tell it in an instant. So what? I had low self-esteem when I was growing up. Man, you're talking about a guy that wore Coke bottle glasses, his eyes go back and forth, can't see, geeky looking dude. No way I'd release my picture of me when I was in kindergarten or when I was in grade school. Geez, it'd be all over the internet in a heartbeat. I couldn't participate in sports because I couldn't see. They called me four eyes and shaky eyes and whatever else. I grew up with an inferiority complex. Somewhere along the line I lost it. I bought my first set of tapes in 1971. And I know this because I have the receipt and the tapes at home in my possession. I had to go down to the bank and borrow the $600 to buy these tapes at $50 a month till they were paid. Still have these tapes. It was put out by Success Motivation Institute. It came with a briefcase and a tape player and the whole world. Who can remember those days? Yeah? Yeah, they're still in existence. 58? Holy moly. I bought them in 71. I'm telling you, those tapes changed my life. A set of tapes changed my life. And you know what else? I bet I listened to them 20 times. And recently I plugged them in and listened to them again. And I swear to you, 30 years later, I knew what he was going to say before he said it. That's how many times I listened to those tapes. In 1971, you wouldn't have want to known me. Surely wouldn't be paying me money to hear what I had to say. Self-esteem sucked. Those tapes got me started moving on a gradual plane and a little series of small successes where my self-esteem started rising, and pretty soon I got to be the cocky, arrogant, reptile brain that I am today. Because once I started succeeding, then obviously it was an upward mobile path. Some of you in the room right now need some successes in your life. You need some checks. When you get some checks, they won't stop you. And the more checks you get, the less I worry about you. Because every time you get a check, you're going to get cockier and cockier and cockier. I know. I've seen it happen. Here's one here. So start getting checks.
That was a compliment, right?
Yeah, it was a compliment. Start getting checks right away. And you fear mistakes, don't you? Well, guess what? Your fears will come true. Because you're going to make a boatload of mistakes. You can't start a new business without making a mistake. Mistake. Do you know that success is one failure right after the other? You got to keep on failing. And incidentally, you will never outlive your possibilities to fail. Don't care how old you get, you're going to make mistakes. I make mistakes constantly. But what I've discovered is this. So far, none of them have killed me. And in the big picture, none of them really matter. All mistakes do is make you stronger. So the only way you're going to get stronger is mistakes. You've got to screw up a lot. So I want you to go out and make a mess. Make a big mess. While you make a mess, you're going to start getting checks. While you're moving forward and making mistakes, you're going to start learning. And pretty soon, a year from now, you're going to be hard to live with. You're going to look back and you're going to be thinking, my goodness gracious, I said in that boot camp a year ago, I didn't have a clue. I don't know how I got this far so fast. Man, what I didn't know just shocks me to death. I can't imagine how I learned it so fast. And all your friends and relatives will think you're a genius, and we won't tell them any different. And folks, I'm telling you, I've seen it happen so many hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times if you progress forward and not let the dream stealers keep you back where they want you to be. There's a lot of them dream stealers out there, and they way outnumber me, I'll tell you that. And I can't be with you all the time. So in that light, I'm going to strongly suggest that you keep some CDs with you, that you plug them in from time to time. that you constantly listen to this positive stuff, that these folks have brought you here, and that I see you personally at least a couple of times a year, you need a dose of Ron at least twice a year. Which is one reason why I will continue to teach personally. I'll teach MOS, I'll teach business management, and I will teach some other things with shorter terms on them than that. And you'll have a chance to come back at the very least. If I get to your area and I'm speaking for somebody else, just come on in and sit down and listen just so you can get right back on track. I can't tell you how many people, they come hear me, listen to them, smack them around and beat them up, and they realize, God, I'm getting off track here. I forgot the basics. I got to get back on track. And because it happens to everybody. Because you get out yonder where everybody's pulling at you instead of staying in the positive environment. I have tapes in my car all the time. In fact, I'm listening to my own Promoter Bootcamp right now. I'm so impressed. It's one of the best things I ever created. And just listening to those tapes that I helped create with these masters on the platform, I mean, that's exciting stuff. And when I get through with that, I'm going to plug something else in. Have I got real estate stuff in there? No. I got other stuff that suits me in there. But I constantly keep something in that tape player. Constantly. I want to hear a constant positive barrage. I'll tell you guys some good tapes you ought to get too. Now I'm thinking about it. You ought to get this. You can go to the bookstore and get them. I got mine at Barnes & Noble, and it's a little pack of, I think it's 12 CDs of Winning Friends and Influencing People. They're about $50. Order those tapes, and I'm telling you, when you listen to them, you're going to want to give them to your children and people you love as a present. I gave away 10 sets of them last year. Winning Friends and Influence People. It's the Dale Carnegie book. Somebody's reading it, but it's really, really, really good stuff. And that's the kind of stuff you ought to be listening to. All right? What else will stop you? Follow through? Will follow through stop you? Well, if you need the money, it probably won't. If you don't need it, you're going to go into a lackadaisical mode and get around to it when you get to it. That's why I suggest you put yourself on a deadline right away. If you hang around the morons, that'll stop you. Don't listen to the morons. Listen to more Ron. Now, wasn't that cute? Okay. Chris, do you have anything else that you want to insert in this before I get out of here?
We have one testimonial letter, Nancy and Dan Marsick. Nancy, where are you, Nancy? She got this letter. It says, Dear Nancy and Dan, I would like to take this time to thank you for giving us the opportunity to become a homeowner. We definitely had some extremely bad advice from realtors and mortgage brokers. I was at first a little leery of your offer to become a homeowner in the manner which you offered this home. Though we had no other offers to help us or get a home, our choices were limited to rental credit approval. The motorhome was unacceptable living quarters, and our friends already had a full house with 4 teenagers. Rick and I could not see any alternatives but to go back to rentals for another year. We're so happy that I took a chance to call MRI Homes. We now have the chance to own our own home and clear up some credit problems at the same time living in our new home. We cannot thank you and your partners. We thank you and your partners so much for making this possible for us to do. We hope that in the future that we will be able to do the same thing for someone else who's in need of a guiding hand. We have several other couples that are interested, one whom I've already talked to Nancy about. Please let us know when properties are available. Word of mouth is your best free advertising. That is the least we can do now until we close, and then we could possibly help others like you have helped us. Thank you. Sincerely, Jan Orlov and Ricky Sandman.
Good letter. You see, guys, when you start getting these kind of letters from people you didn't even know till you helped them out of a situation, you'll come to understand why you're in this business. See, this is what drives me. I get letters from you guys all the time. And there are times when I wonder why I do this, especially in my recent past. And the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of letters I got spurred me to keep doing this, because I don't have to. I mean, I don't have to do this. And so I want you to constantly keep sending me these letters. Send me your testimonials. Send them with checks. Send them with your photographs. And well, I mean copies of checks. Okay. And when you're out there in the world, make sure you solicit these kind of testimonials from both buyers and sellers. And pretty soon, when you get down and you get low, and it's a bad day, you pull these things out, and you'll see why you're doing this. There's a human side of this business you should never forget. The human element will be around long after the money's gone. You take care of the people who take care of you. You keep your promises and don't make any you can't keep. And if it comes to doing the right thing or money, let the money go. Because you do the right thing, the money will come back in handsome dividends. You don't take advantage of anybody. You don't have to do anything illegal, immoral, or unethical to make a lot of money in this business. And if you just treat people the way you want to be treated, you're going to have more money coming in than you can soon count. And that's a promise. If you do your part, we'll do our part. With that said, I have got to get out of here, so I appreciate you guys coming. I hope I see all of you in a very, very near future.
I got one announcement. Here you go.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Appreciate it.